Thank you for your question.
正确的，然后是否会透过这系统把外企加到不可靠清单中？最后就是请问商务部认为
I have a
中美
question
系
for
列
the
的信用体
MOFCOM.
系对外企在中国
For this commercial credit system, what will be its influence in the future? Thank you for your question. As to your first question, the U.S. and China's negotiation team and we have noticed that there are some reports saying that the Western countries are worried about this company credit system, that this system would be used by China to take a revenge. However, I think you are not offering sufficient information on that point. If you can give us sufficient information, we can give you more response in that regard. As to the unreliable entity list, I'd like to say that the Chinese government is focused on the establishment of this commercial credit system in order to create a predictable and legal-based system. We will take active measures to protect the commercial secrets as well as the IPR of the enterprises. We will rule by the law, and we treat all the entities in the market on the equal basis, and we will not give the discriminative measures against the foreign players in the ground. And we will not take any retaliation measures against a legal company. Next question, please. Thank you. I'm from Phoenix. The U.S. has said that they will impose additional tariff on the Chinese goods and also increase the ratio of the tariff. What is the comment? In the circumstances, we should try to talk the U.S. out of the imposition of the tariff, additional tariff on the value of 550 billion US dollar of Chinese goods. We have stressed again and again that the escalation of the trade conflicts will not be in the interest of the U.S. and Chinese people and not for the whole world. And it's quite possible to spread disasters for the whole world. Next question, please. Now we are observing the escalation of the commercial war, the trade war. Well, the trade war gives more negative impacts to the other aspects of the development. Today, we are experiencing the transformation of the society, and we are changing the engines of development. We have a resilient economy and also enough room for the transformation. At the same time, we have the macro regulation tools. We have the confidence and also the capacity to save and guarantee the fundamentals of our economic growth. Thank you. Next question, please.
Sorry, just a question on the calls that happened. Was it trust
Trade and economy. And for those opinions, a lot of Americans have opposed to that. And for the U.S.-China trade, the basic principle is the win-win. We are not the opposing parties in the game. It's not the zero-sum game. Instead, we want to have a mutually beneficial collaboration. All the American companies are welcome for a fair competition in China, and we will create a favorable environment for them to do business. Next question, please. Thank you. I'm from Hong Kong. I have 3 questions. The first is with the negotiations. It's already 2 weeks away from the 13th of August talks. I'd like to know whether the Vice Premier Liu He had a second round of telephone negotiations with the U.S. representatives. And second question, for the soybeans and other agricultural products, will China continue to use those agricultural products to make some retaliation measures against the U.S.? And third question, last Friday, China declared that we will continue to impose an additional tariff for the pieces and components of vehicles made in the U.S. And will this measure impact the manufacturing of vehicles from the European countries, or will we give the exclusion of tariffs? For the negotiation thing, I have given enough information before, so no addition of information here. And second question, we have included once again some products from the U.S., including the agricultural products, into this list for additional tariff. We hope that by using these retaliation measures, we could avoid the continuing escalation of the trade conflicts between the 2 countries. And for the third question, the exclusion of the European countries from this list of the additional tariff on the vehicle making, and please refer to the State Council's office. Next question, please. I'm with the Reuters. In recent days, we've been asking the Ministry of Foreign Affairs about the negotiations over the phone call. Have you ever heard of this? There are some rumors now. The U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed that there have been phone calls for the negotiations. Could you please confirm on that point? And also, according to Donald Trump, there will be 5% of additional tariff of imposition. And for this, what is the reaction measures from the Chinese side? And if yes, what will be them? Thank you for your question. Actually, I've already responded to those questions. For that phone call, there's no extra information to be added here. For the retaliation measures, just now a journalist from the Phoenix satellite has also asked the same question. I've made the answer. Next question, please. Thank you. We've noticed that in recent days, the market price for the pork is very high. And what is the expected tendency of the price of pork in the market, and what measures can we take to ensure the supply of pork? Thank you for your question. In domestic market, the supply of the pork is guaranteed. The MOFCOM will continue to closely follow the trend of development in the market and discuss with relevant departments to guarantee enough supply of pork and other meat. At the same time, we will also cooperate with the producing areas and coordinate and harmonize the production quantity among regions, and also to guarantee the channels of stock and also circulation of the pork. At the same time, in order to meet the demand, we can also consider more imports of pork in the Chinese market so that there will be stable development of this product. For the RCEP talk and also the FTA talk between China, Japan, and the South Korea, what is the development of these talks and what measures can we take to ensure the final success? As to the two negotiations that you have mentioned, all the relative parties are making efforts to push for more progress from the negotiations. For the RCEP, currently, all relevant parties have shown strong political wills to end these negotiations by the end of this year. We have just closed the ministerial meeting of RCEP in Beijing not long ago. All parties have shown their determination to close the negotiations before the end of this year, and we have made significant breakthroughs. The Chinese party will continue to play a constructive role in this round and to consolidate the leading role so that we can close the negotiations as expected. For the FTA negotiation between China, Japan, and South Korea, for the ministerial meeting of foreign affairs, all the ministers of foreign affairs have showed their determination for the acceleration of discussions. China is willing to work together with the other two countries to progress forward and also to have the mutually beneficial and high-value agreement of FTA. I have two questions. First, the Ministry of Commerce of the U.S. have received a lot of applications for selling. The applications are for selling the pieces and components towards the company Huawei. However, there's not yet the approval from Donald Trump. And second question, what is your comment on the future development trend of the China, Japan, and South Korea FTA? For your first question, we have noticed the relevant reports. It shows that in many aspects, China and U.S. companies have established an interdependent relation. If you take retaliation measures against Chinese companies, then in the end, this will also bring negative impacts to the U.S. ones. We hope that the U.S. would lift the retaliation measures and other restrictions on Chinese companies, including Huawei. For the second question that you have raised, China, South Korea, and Japan, we are close neighbors and also important commercial partners. China hopes that among neighbors we can have a harmony relationship. Japan and South Korea are all wise countries. We believe that we can wisely settle down this difference of opinions. Against the current international circumstances, we hope that our three countries can stand up to the challenges and also face the situation together. Together, we will protect the multilateralism trading system and also protect the FTA, so that we can contribute to the healthy and stable development of the regional environment and the international world. As to the negotiations among the three countries for the FTA, I've already answered to that question before. Next question, please. James.
You said earlier that China has ample tools to retaliate. China has anti-tariff. China prefers thinks that we should discuss removing new tariffs instead. Are you saying that you're not going to retaliate against the newest U.S. tariffs that are announced on Saturday? If that's the case, this will be the first time you haven't retaliated immediately after a U.S. action. Why the change in strategy? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Just now, I have given a clear answer. The retaliation measures from the Chinese side are sufficient. However, in the current circumstances, we believe that the focus should be the abolishment of the extra additional tariffs on the worth of $550 billion of Chinese goods. And now we are in deep discussion and negotiations with the U.S. side. Next question, please. Thank you. I'm with Shenzhen TV. About this riots in Hong Kong. If we continue like this, there will be negative impact on the Hong Kong economy and the continental China's economy. For the Hong Kong issue, there has already been answered from the State Council Office and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Do you have any other questions? Thank you. Recently, the U.S. has escalated the conflicts of trade between U.S. and China. Is it inevitable that we enter into this trade war? Thank you for your question. As is mentioned before, China is against an escalation of the trade conflict. We should consider the big picture of the U.S.-China interest and that of the whole world. We'd like to settle those problems in a wise way. We hope that the U.S. would meet China halfway, and on the basis of equality and mutual respect, we can carefully handle this problem. Do you have any other questions? If no, that's the end of today's press conference. Thank you.